super like widescreen, the fucking screen right here, but I have no idea what the impact is or how it's gonna perform or any of that stuff. So I'm gonna do this as a test stream, whatever, again, um, and see how it rolls. But today I'm gonna focus on what I'm working with for diving into the Tekken 8 models and how they're set up, right? And then also showing you how I've set up this shader that I have. And I've got a couple of versions of it. There's some blend files that I have on my Mega Drive that's on my Twitch you guys can check out. And this one will eventually go up there as well. I'm probably going to just pull this out and throw this on Lydia since that's who I use right now. But I want to kind of show you guys what I've been working on. All right, cool. So here's what I got so far. All I have is this top part and the bottom because I wanted to make sure I had a good setup. And this is the setup I think I'm going to finish with, but it's not setup I started with. So this is the setup I started with, and I was like, it works, but I was like, can I make it a little bit simpler? And so I've got this version, which is a decent amount simpler, but I still think it needs a lot of work. So I'm going to go ahead and save this real quick, and then I'm just going to do another version. So, and I'm going to essentially redo what I've done here, but I'm going to do it on the other material that I have on this one. And we'll see kind of how it's set up. But before I go into that, I just want to kind of show how to set this up. So, and that's what I'm going to do in just a second here. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, and then hit select over here, hit Control I, and then hit H to hide everything. So now I just have this top up here, and then I'm going to kind of go through the quick and dirty of how to set this up. And I think I'm going to take this material right here. I'm going to make a generic version of it. So basically, let's go ahead and I'm going to try to clean this all up before I make it available. But right now I'm just trying to make sure everything is shown. And that's really it. Okay, cool. And I'm going to go ahead and take this and I'm going to rename it to this Tekken one. Tekken cloth here. And I renamed this one to Tekken cloth on accident. This needs to get renamed back to what's it called? Let's see. Copy. Name this. It's called Brawlet. Okay, cool. So that's the official name. Oh my goodness, what happened? What happened here? I don't even know. Oh, okay. So what happened here is that I think I managed to completely destroy that material altogether. Or not, I don't know. But basically, yeah, I need to do this. So whatever, it works. So let's call it Tekken 8. Well, actually, this is a copy of the Tekken cloth one. Okay, so it's not attached to anything. So here's my Tekken cloth. This one is the same thing, and I just renamed it to Bralette. But all of these don't match. All of these textures and everything, they don't match. So it's time to let's go ahead and just delete them for right now. Delete, delete all of the texture pieces here. And we'll do this one from scratch, I guess. Okay, so what do I have here? What am I working with? What is this thing altogether? So basically, this part right here, well, let's start at the beginning. So the ID map is one of the biggest changes with Tekken 8 right now. It's where they're using a different type of material mask. So they're not just using red, green, blue, cyan, and like the CMYK colors. They're using variations of the hue of red. And so that they can pack up to 4 different coloring areas or masks into each channel. And so there's about, I think there's 20 total. And I figured it to be the 4 for each of the main channels, 4 for the alpha channel, and then I'm not sure exactly what the other 4 channels are set up to be. I have to do some more research, but for now these ones work pretty good. And so I have created a node group, and let me go down to the basics of it. So basically what this does is it splits that color, the ID mask, into the different channels, and then we have the alpha. And then I went in here and I did a bunch of math and testing, and this seems to be the way they're broken out. And basically it's into 4s, right? So I've got, this one is all 1, so the brightest, the second brightest, third brightest, and the darkest will be in this section. And I'll show you an F model in just a moment where they have a split channel texture, and it tells you what the different breakouts are. Like, does the red channel have 3 colors, 2 colors, 1 color, 4 colors, etc. for each of them. So basically I have each of those set up, and they're set up to their own export, right? So it's going to create this mask based on that material that's got inputted. I can delete that, I don't need that. And then I have a color ramp here, and basically what this does is just makes it as strong as possible, so that section isn't faded. It's going to be the maximum white and the maximum black for that different thing. And then I have this for, which essentially does the same thing, but for the alpha channel. No, this is actually for the full channel. So this takes all of the red colors and makes all of the red colors bright white. So if I just wanted to mask out just the red colors, I could do that with this option right here. And then I took and I tested it a bunch of times, and it seems like all the channels use the same setup. And then I just ran them into their slots. And let's see, I think I need to make some corrections as well, because the A, it's like backwards too, right? It's like a little backwards setup that they have, and I'm trying to make sure it's correct, because not everything is just on its face the way it's supposed to be. But I believe the brightest channel is actually the highest number item usually, and that's usually 4, and then it goes down. So that's why this is split. So A is like this, and I need to make that correction for these as well. So I'm gonna do that real quick. So we're gonna move this one here, this one here, and this one here, and this one there. Right. Oops. Yeah, this one goes here. And I might be wrong. Oh wait, this one goes here. Oh wait, hold up. So D goes to 13, C 14. Yep, and those ones are the same. So I think that's the way it's supposed to be. We'll find out in just a moment. And then there's a bunch of colors set up in here. So that's the main ID splitter. So that's going to take the material mask and split it up into a bunch of different channels that we can, or IDs that we can then use. This one is little sets of 4. And basically what this does is allows me to create little blend nodes. So what happens with this one is that factor, which is like the ID, is going to get placed into whichever one it's supposed to be. And I'm going to switch these ones around as well, because I think now that I fixed the other side, this one should work. So I'm going to make that correction real quick, and then I'll have to find out if I'm doing this all in vain or not. And normally I'd have like a little notepad and try to write down everything that I'm doing, but I was really eager with building this one, so I kind of went a little bit faster than I could write down. And then I'll kind of explain how this all works. So basically what's happening is that these factors are your masks, and the way it works is that the darkest part of your mask will be the original, and then whatever is white on your mask will show through, and whatever color you have or image you have that's what's going to get shown at the bottom. So you'll have your original texture, and then you'll have another texture you're going to be putting on top of it, and whatever part of your mask is white, that part of the texture will show through. It's a pretty simple concept if you've done any masking. And so the first one, I have an input set here, so that way I can link these all together and set up the colors. And then I have a color tab going out, right? So for the B color, because in this case for a mask, I'm not feeding in any actual textures. I'm feeding in colors that are going to be placed over top of it. And then I'm using a mix for all of these colors, because they're not going to, I don't want them to blend with any colors underneath of them. I want them to replace those colors and lay over top. If we go back up, and then so what I have is for the first four, I'm using that setup, right? And the way I have it set is that the default for these is 0, right? So we're gonna make this 0. And what that means is that if the factor is set to 0, then whatever the inputted texture is what is going to, it's not gonna take any of the new texture. So that means I can have this set up and I can have all of these nodes linked up, but only the ones that I actually assign a factor to will work. The other ones will just be blank, and it's kind of like be like a pass through. And I'm going to go ahead and unhook everything here, and we're good. And that's essentially just a gray mask right now, but because it's in a there's an HDRI set to it, it's got some of the color from the whatever scene reflecting off of it. So it's just a gray base color right now. And so no colors are coming through at all. All right, so that's how I set up the mask. This is a hue and saturate one. So this, and I set it up in a group, because the cool thing about setting it up in a group is I can put this in here, right? And I can make some changes. And if I take this node group into a different material, whatever I set inside of this will change as well. So if I change it for material 1 and I'm using this in material 2, then material 2 will change as well. So it's great for skins, so you can keep the same color across all the skins that you're using. It's also great if you're changing like an overall theme or something of that nature. I was thinking about making an option where you can pick and choose on the outside, and then, but if you're going to do that, you might as well just put in a node by itself. And then these are some blending nodes that I'm going to be using for some other stuff, and I'll explain that in just a bit. Now, this is a stack where I took a lot of the different calculations. So there's an OBD map, an RMA map, and a TSE map. That stands, so from what I've gathered so far, we have our opacity mask, which is in the one channel, then a dirt mask. This is our roughness, metallic, and ambient occlusion, our overall ambient occlusion. And then T, I'm not exactly sure what it's for, but S is specular and E is emissive. And so when those get fed in, I have them broken out. And so they'll come in and they're going to get broken and then put into whichever slot. I have the dirt factor set to red. What I can do is move it over here. And what this will allow me to do, let me change the name, is change the dirt color. So I'll just call this dirt color. And so when I'm setting that up, I'll be able to change the dirt color. And then I also have the dirt factor set up. So that means I can change how dirty it is, or if it's not dirty at all. And then down here is a mess. I'm still not exactly 100% sure how I want to get this all set up. I want to get it as clean as this stuff up here, but it's not. But I digress. So now it's time to let's go ahead and put this thing together. So I'm going to go ahead and pull from this side. I probably could have just changed the names of the headers, but I'm just going to pull from this side. And what I want over here is a file browser, right? Cool. And let's go and let's find where our maps are at. So I'm going to go to textures, and I already have these all extracted and whatnot, so I know where they are. And what I'm working with right now is the this is for the jacket. And let's see, do I still have the jacket in here? I do. Okay, so this is what the jacket looks like when it's set up correctly. But I'm gonna go ahead and replace that one with Um, see the cloth one that I made, right? And that's this one. And I think actually the bralette is what I called it. Okay. And I'm gonna rename that one to, actually I'm gonna rename this one to Tekken 8 cloth. All right, cool. And now I'm going to hit this to make a duplicate of it. And I'm going to call this one just Tekken 8 cloth jacket. So it's its own individual one. And that way I can just use that second cloth as a base. So I can just load that to whatever material and it should be cleared out like this one is right now. And then I can start adding in my textures and whatnot. So I'm gonna look for jacket. So we're just gonna type in jacket over here. And I can go ahead and hit the little thumbnail option so I can see the thumbnails. And we're gonna start grabbing these pieces and bringing them in. So I'm just gonna bring them in like one at a time, essentially. So I'm gonna bring this one in here that I need. And I'm just gonna start here. Let's just start with this one. So let's go ahead and just minimize that for right now. Make it smaller. Yep, there we go. All right. So I'm going to take this, and if I plug this in all the way over here into the base color, right, we'll see that there's a bunch of different like hues and different colors that are associated with this thing, right? And that's all good and lovely. But what we want to do is make sure we're able to like place the colors everywhere. And so to kind of give you an idea of what this is going to look like is I'll take this and plug it into here. Boom, it's plugged in. And I'm going to unplug this one for right now. Oh. And let's take a look and see what is happening. All right, so if I grab this one channel, I should be able to plug it in over here. What should happen is, I don't know why let me take my opacity off real quick. I'm going to unplug these because they don't have anything in them right now and I don't want to affect anything. Okay, so right now it's showing as that's what that mask is. Now we have this mask, and this mask is just the zipper parts. And this mask is nothing. And then this mask is just the sleeves up here. All right, and I want to plug this one in because I think this one I might need to tweak this one a little bit. Let me just see. And this one is using the first one. All right, what's actually the bottom one, this one. You just see something here. Ah, stop it. Hey, my mouse has been acting crazy. And I'm looking to see if there's like any cutoff. And I don't think so. I think it just covers like the whole of that part. Okay, so that's fine. So basically what this will do now is if I get out of here and just go up another one. There we go. I can plug this into, say, factor 1 right here. So let's listen on the factor 1. And I'm going to go ahead and plug this one directly into the base color. So it's gone through all the chain of colors. And now we've got a color. And so I have this color set for this part up here. Now, if I want the second one, which I don't remember if there was anything, and you can always just like plug it in to see if there was. I'm like, all right, there is. Cool. I can go ahead and plug this one into here. And now whatever color I have set here, I can make. Oh, and I have to plug this back in. All right, you can see that I changed the color of that piece. And then 3, I'm pretty sure was nothing. So I'm just going to skip that one. And then 4 is here. And I'll just put it on this one. All right, and so I've got brown for this area. I've got um, this tan color for that part, and then this, right? And I'll do the same thing for each of them. And I found with the 4 color pieces that it's 4 is the brightest one, and then the the 2 smaller ones, it just skips. It's like D, B, A. So it's not like D, C, B or C, B, A. It's the brightest, the darkest, and then it's either this one or this one when it's running 3. And of course with 4, it's all 4 of them. But and that's my setup for like my 4. And then you can just keep going and do the same thing for all of the other ones. So if I open up F model, which I think should be showing on my screen. Yeah, okay. So if I open up F model like so, let's go ahead and make it big. I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the actual mesh like so. And I'm going to click on it and it should open it up. And there it is. So here's the mesh in F model. Let's go to the jacket. And I've got this material over here. I've got all these scalar parameters. I got these colors and I got these textures. Right now, I'm just going to focus on the colors. And so you've got the colors right here for each of the IDs. So if I look at this one, I could say, okay, this is the hex number and this is the values of each of them. But that can be a little bit time consuming going back and forth. But what I can also do is go to that material. So if I go back out and I go to the material and I want to keep this like as true as possible to the game, I can go ahead and look for jacket, and then I can scroll down, and I'm looking for the actual ID colors that are being associated with it. Okay, so here we go. So here are the ID colors, and I'm gonna grab the first 3 or the last 6, right? Hit copy, and let me go ahead and move this to this side and split this on this side. Nice. And now I can go over here and I believe just drop it into the hex section. Hex, Control V, and now I get that color. And then I can just do the same thing for each of them. And if you have the game open or you have a screenshot online of whatever it is, you can use that as well. All right. And we'll go down and color 3. Nice. So this is the part where, like, because the actual color textures or the diffuse maps are just gray. There's nothing there. They're just grayscale. And you can see that there's no blue being shown. Now, if I do this, it's not really defined, so it's just gonna like cover as much as it can. So we're just gonna keep that one blank. And I just do the same thing for each of these. All right. Now, if I change these colors right now, nothing at all is going to happen. Right. Let's see, let's look at 6. And I don't know if that little sound is going to show up in this stream, but it's super annoying. And I apologize if it is, but I don't know how to fix it either. All right. And even though this one is 7 and you would think it would be number 7, we're actually going to make this one number 8. And so I want to hook them up. I can hook them up. So we'll hook this one into here, hook this one into here, and we'll hook. Oh wait, this will be 5, 6, and then instead of using 7, I'm going to use 8. All right, so that adds more colors, which you're not really going to see too much depending on what's getting done. If I go into here and change the color around, you can see that it is providing an impact or change. And I believe this one is nothing. Yeah, we'll just leave that blank. All right, just do the same thing for the other ones. So now we'll move into the next set, which should be 9. And of course, you could also do it by eye as well if you want to. Like I said, I'm passing this one. And if you're unsure, what is this, 9, 10, and then 13. And I like to keep the ones that I'm skipping as like a solid color that I can recognize in the future. And I usually keep it red, green, blue, and yellow, but it's whatever. And I'm only using I'm not only using the first two. The first FF is like for alpha, as far as I understand. And if I go back in, I can kind of verify if I'm doing this right. Let me zoom in because I don't know with this bigger screen if it changes anything. Oh. So let's take a look at like color 2. If I go into color 2, which is this one, and I look at the RGB, I've got like 0.328, 0.29, 0.27, and there, 0.328, 0.29, 0.27, and then 1. So I know I'm on the right path. And sometimes when you're in the things, it's not going to look like it's the right color. And we can make changes to that later if you want to as well. But for now, we're going to keep all the standard colors. And if I go into F model and go back to looking at the models, all right, and we go down to jacket. There's the colors that I have. And there's an iridescent color I'm not sure how to use, but there's this thing right here, and it has R as 3, green as 3, blue as 2, and alpha as 1. So in this case, I set up for, I think I set the colors up wrong. I'll have to double check. But let me put these colors in while I know. And yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, and then 5, 6, 7. So I've got 5, 6, and 7, but in this case it's 8. And then we've got 9, 10. Okay, so then it's just 9 and 10. So this will be 9. And this one will be 10. And these ones aren't anything. 13 will be this alpha one. And I have the alpha one set to just pulling the alpha. So red, green, black, and then I use FAC as the alpha, as the factor, but it's the same thing as alpha. And I'll put that color in here. And let's change this back to my default color. Oops. Yellow is just red and green. All right. Set this one to that as well, just to show that I'm not using those colors at all. And then there we go. And so there's the basic coloring of the character. All right, and she looks golden, but it's like a rose color. And this will change when I start adding the other maps to this whole thing. So let's add some of the next maps, right? Oh, and I can also change the hue at this point, plug it in from right here. And if I go into here, I could set, so 0.5 is nothing. It's whatever the original hue is. There we go. And I've got my saturation set up to like 1. So we'll set that all even. Now, if I change this, I can cycle through the different colors, and all of those colors will just be affected by this hue switch. Same thing goes for the alpha and the saturation, but we'll keep it at the basic amount for right now. Okay, so the first thing I add then is any pattern colors. And pattern colors are PC textures. And if I go into here, you can see here we go. So pattern, and then it's the pattern ends with a PC. So let's go ahead and can I move this? Come on, slide out. There we go. All right, so let's grab our pattern color. We'll grab this, and the pattern colors are typically just oh, and I need to check something here with this one. Let's see, for 9 and 10, I want to say that even though this one is 9, I think it's supposed to be uh, 12. And so to check it, I'm just going to move over here and plug this one in and see if that's as an area pulled out. And there's the hood piece right there, which is cool. And let me go ahead and just close this real quick. And I'm going to just check the other ones real quick. So, okay, so that's 12. Let's see, what is 11? Pull out 11. And it's just all black, so there's nothing there. And let's pull out 10 just to make sure, see if I'm not missing something. Because if I put in one and it's all black, yeah. So, okay, so 10 is nothing. And let's look at 9 just to make sure. Not tripping. All right, so 9 is this band down here. And so with the twos, where it's just two colors, you're looking at the darkest color and the lightest color. So in this case, it would be 9 and 12. So let's make sure that this part that I have for blue is set up, and I just put it onto this one right here. All right, and I'm gonna unplug that because it's nothing, and I'll reset this one back to my defaults. And I need to, oh, I should have took that color. Let's go back. Maybe I'll just eye it up. So this is what, 10. We'll just make this like, I'll just take this color. You can drag and drop it. Drop color. We're just gonna make this one a little bit darker. Change it to something that looks kind of brownish. All right, there we go. All right, nice. And then we're just gonna go ahead and plug the stuff all back in. So, but now I'm gonna start from this point right here. So we're gonna go ahead and plug this in. And I said that I'm gonna do, this part actually I'm going to skip. So I'm gonna set this to 0. This is gonna be where I want my AO to go. Actually, no, I think I'm just gonna put the AO on top of everything. Yeah, so we'll keep this the way it is. So the alpha, I'm gonna go ahead, if we take a look at it, I can go in here and let's, oh, stop. It makes me like triple click and stuff. All right, so if I plug this one in, this is the alpha for the pattern. And there's where all the pattern stuff is gonna go. And if I don't do that, right, and I just put this color one in, then it covers everything else, right? There's the patterns that I want to have on this mesh here. But I don't want it to be black and cover everything else up. So I'm going to use this here and plug it into the factor. And this is all the masking colors that I have. That's going to go into like the base color. And then I'll set this color into this one. So now when I plug it in, if it actually connects, we'll see that we have all those base colors that I already set up. And we have our pattern on top of it. Cool. And that's how you set up the pattern color. The next one is, do I have this one set up? This is for, I want to say this is for the A. I don't know what I have this one set up for, to be honest. Oh, this is set up for the detail AOs. So I'm going to set that one to 0 for right now. I just want to be a pass-through. And now I want to plug this one in. So this one, there's nothing set up in these ones correctly. So let's go ahead and grab the right maps. And this makes it really easy. So now you don't have to do any of the split. I can just grab the map and toss it in. So let's find our maps. So I've got an RMA map. So let's grab it. Here we go. What, did I grab it? No, you can't drag all of them in, I don't think. Or maybe you can, I don't remember. But I just grab one at a time. So let's grab our RMA map, plug it in. And sometimes I'll just set it to channel pack just to make sure. Oh, it's already set to channel pack, nice. And I'll just make it small. So that's add some roughness and some shine to certain parts and not others. Or it actually sets these up. So I can set the roughness and the metallic and the AO up. So let's see, roughness, we'll go into here. And now we'll see we got some roughness going on. We got metallic, let's set that one up in here. And then you see now it's looking a lot more like that yellow. It's got, because it's a very metallic shirt. If you've seen the actual character. And then we've got AO. And the AO is already built into this process. So I don't need to do anything for the AO because I already have it working in here to combine itself. And basically that's just this here going into the split. And then I have the red and green channels going into the things they need to go into. And then the blue channel is the AO. And I have that one blending with my color input. So that color that comes in, it's getting multiplied on top of that. So I can move that up and down. You kind of see where the shadows come and go. So that's how the AO works on that one. Let's grab the next one. We'll grab this OBD. And actually, it's the diffuse ones that I haven't set up. I think that's the one I want to multiply. So I'm going to switch this up real quick. I'm going to move this one to here. And I'll move this one here because I want it to just be a mix. Set that factor to 0. So that way it's not blending anything. And this one is where I'm going to add my diffuse mask map. And I'm just going to go ahead and make this one small because no point cluttering up any areas. And let's go ahead and grab, there's no TSE map as far as I can tell with this this material, so I don't need it. But there's an OBD somewhere. Here it is. Oh, I already brought it in. Nice. And same thing, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the OBD and plug it into its spot right there. And like I said, that's the opacity. I don't know what B stands for, and then the dirt. So let's go ahead and set opacity to this. And it's all white, so it's full opaque, so I don't have to worry about it, but just in case. And then we got the dirt mask, which is in this section. And I have it set to red, so if I move this up, you'll see how it gets, I can add the dirt on there if I wanted to. And I can make it whatever color I want to. I want to make it like dark brown. I can do that as well, right? All right, you can just crank that bad boy all the way up if you want to, or crank it down. So we'll add just a little bit on here, just for some character. All right, cool. So that makes that part super easy to set up. And it's great. The other thing that's kind of cool is that because now I can do a couple of things, right? So I have this dirt color set out here, but if I were to go into here and unplug my dirt, which is, I have to follow the line, like from here, right? You see the dirt turns red. If I change the dirt to whatever color that I want to, like say, let's just make it that color. Now, whenever I use this node in other materials, this one won't be triggered. Instead, it will be whatever's set in here. But if you plug it into the outside, then it's going to be looking for that information. And so each one will be unique. So you can kind of set up your essentially like a material function inside the node, and then the controls on the outside, or set it all up so that it's just a group that does stuff. All right, cool. And then I could set up a emissive but I don't know if I have a TSE map. I don't think so. I don't, but I have a color E emissive as well, because in Blender, sometimes when you're doing these complicated things and I'm using text tools, it doesn't always pull, but I can pull the color map by redirecting it to an emission and then bake an emissive map and then get my stuff. And I've seen that done a lot for other things that people want to do. that may not be the traditional bakes, but I digress. Nonetheless, that's all we have for this one. And because I don't think there's a specular mask in here as far as I'm aware. Go back to naming. And nope, there's no specular set for this one. All right, so let's grab our diffuse masks now. So we have the two diffuse masks, right? We have this one here and we have this one here. So let's grab both of them. And these are the C for color. We'll grab that. So I've got these two. And let's just take a look at them by themselves. So if I take this C mask here and I just plug it in, you'll see, and I'm going to I'm going to take off the metallic and the roughness real quick. All right. And so you can see this is like the shaded colors, the shadows and stuff that are built in the diffuse, but there's no actual color. And that's in your just regular C. And then you got this add C. And if you plug that one in, take a look at it once it loads up. It's kind of like a flat, it's just a flat color. And basically what it's doing is it's saying put color on these areas. Some of these color masks have different values. They might say, hey, put this in, but put it at a lower degree. So we want to blend those two together. And so that's what I'm going to use here. And I should have another spot if, yeah, I should have another blend that I must have deleted. So I'm going to make a new one. I'm going to hit Shift A, hit S to search, and then just mix color. And I'm going to place this right here. And I want to blend these two together. So I'm going to use this add color as my factor. And then this one will be as the resulting. Okay, no, I use this one here. All right, so I'm going to use this as my factor, and we're going to plug this one into here. Let's go ahead and plug this back in. It'll drop for me. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take this add and use it as the factor. And now I'm going to plug this one into here. And I'm going to use a multiply to multiply all the colors together. So everything's being multiplied quite nicely. Sometimes I like overlay usually because I feel like the colors come through a little bit more vibrantly. And I get kind of like a toned look to it instead, which is what I want. And I feel like something is off with my color selection, but I'm not sure. But I'll check it out in a second. I'm going to plug these ones back in, metallic and roughness. Because I feel like that lower piece that I was looking at isn't properly colored. And maybe it is, and it's just not the color I think it's supposed to be. I thought it was supposed to be lighter, and this is supposed to be color 9. If I look at color 9, it should be this color, which is also similar to color 3. I'm just going to put it in like that for now. All right. Okay, so that sets up a lot of the stuff. The color masking is probably the most tedious in time. Trying to figure out how to get this all to work and make it good. There's two parts of this new material that are kind of rough, but the rest of it's pretty straightforward. And using this setup, it's probably the best way to go. The next thing I want to put in here is my my normal map. I hope that little beeping sound is not going through the speaker. In fact, I think I'm gonna go switch over here, and I don't have my I'm gonna turn off system sounds if I can. There we go. So hopefully you guys don't hear that sound and it's just me. Okay, so here's my normal map. And for my normal, I'm gonna go ahead and unplug. Oh my goodness. Stop it. I've just been having USB issues. I'm gonna unplug my normal map because there's really nothing there. And here's my new normal map. And I have a node that's inside of here that I want to use, right? And it is this node group right here, which I think I'm gonna have to rename so we can find it later. Oh my goodness. It's driving me insane. Okay, so this is my normal map. I don't know what the RT stands for, but this is the normal map. And this is a little node group that I made for my normal stuff because there are two types of normals in this game. There's detail normals and then overall normals. And I didn't want to have to do this process like multiple times. And I'll kind of show you what it does. So basically, I have a little node group. I got a couple of node groups all nestled into each other. So this is a basic node group that I use for a lot of my stuff for Tekken or UE stuff. Basically, what it does is it gives me the option to plug my normal map in and have a flipped version, because there's two different types of normals out there. There's OpenGL and DirectX. The OpenGL ones and the DirectX, the only thing that's different is that the green channels are flipped or inverted. So the way this works is I plug that normal map in and it runs it through and gives me a flipped one or a normal one. And then because the in the normal in this version of Tekken 8, there's an AO map baked into that normal map, and it's pulling it from the blue channel. So I just pull that one out, and it's separated right here, and I now have a detail AO map that I have access to. And so I don't have to do anything special. Then I just drop that in here, and I've created like a little mixed node thing, and this should be here. Okay. All right, and basically the way this works, and I'll just move it to the side because it's just this little thing in here, is right now I have it set up to mix. So what it's doing is I've got a normal coming in, and then I've got the normal from this one, and they're going to blend together. The factor is going to be whatever the ID is that I choose to use, and that's going to set how they blend on top of each other. And this isn't a mixed color node. These are just going to blend the two vertices together, the vertex. So when you're dealing with the normal, you got like more mathy stuff. And so I can't do like overlays and things of that nature. And that's what I've done in the past, but I found this to give me a much more accurate normal map. So I've upgraded to using a more technical version. But that gives me this little node group. And then these little node groups I use to combine. And this is kind of like the same setup as I had earlier with the different blending mixed colors. And it's the same thing. They're all at 0 until they're added. And I don't know why I have it set up like this if I'm only having one normal coming out. So I'm going to go up top real quick and see why I did it like that. And I don't have any reason that I could think of. I was probably trying to figure out how I want to stack them. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that real quick. I'm going to grab these guys and just move them out of the way for right now, because I may need to go back to it. And I'll set this AO to be right here. And I probably don't even need this, to be honest. I could probably just use this by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and copy. And I'm going to bring this out and paste it. And there we go. And that's essentially the same thing I have here. So I'm not going to use this node group. I'm going to use this one. And so that'll be updated. I'm just going to delete those for right now. Okay, cool. And I don't need that one just yet, but what I do need is this. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to plug this into here. And I'm going to plug this one into here. And I need to figure out why is there not? Okay, so I'm setting this one to 1 because what I want is the second normal map to be the strongest. And it's because I don't have a first normal map, it's trying to blend something that doesn't exist with something that does exist. And so I want all of the one that does exist to be the primary one. So for the first normal map that I'm going to be blending or working with, I want my factor to be 1 because it's going to take this whole stuff. And then once I move along further, I'll have normal inputs and strengths to mess with. I also want to set this to 1. There we go. And you can change the strength of it and make it stronger or less strong, depending on, oh my goodness. All right, so we'll set this to 1. And there we go. And now we've got a jacket looking really nice. But there's also a bunch of normal maps that we want to add to this thing. And that's what we're going to do right now. So that's my base normal map. And I've got this little node right here, but I'm going to delete these nodes. I'm going to keep one other node. So I have a node right here, and this is a UV node that I have set up for the detail maps. Basically, it's just using a texture coordinate and a mapping node, and then setting it up so that the I can change the X and the Y coordinates, and then the Z coordinate will stay at 1. And that way I can scale my texture map. And that's, I could use it for these ones and just set it to be 1. And you know what, I'll just do that for here. If I look at it, you see it's all crazy. We're just gonna select those, just hit 1. And now it's at the default level. And now let's get our detailed normal maps. Okay, so if I go back into F model, and I don't know how much of this is shown up in U model, but in F model it breaks it out really well. I can go over here and look at my scalars, right? My scalar's got all these different IDs and all these different attributes set to it, right? And it's got my scales, and I'm going to use that. So I've got all of these different IDs I want to use, and then I want to find out which maps I'm going to be associating to. And I see that I'm using ID 1, 2, 5, 7, 9, and 10. And these are the maps that are associated with it. So let's go ahead and grab that. So I got this Napa AN. So let's go over here, and I'm going to go out and go up. And I need to go to the shared textures, and then go to texture, detail maps, and here are my detail maps. And so I'm just going to look up Napa. All right, cool. I'm going to grab Napa. All right, so now I have this. And now I need one of these. So I'm going to grab that as well, plug it in. And it usually defaults to plugging in a color, so you'll just have to move it up to that. All right, and then I'm going to grab this color one and shove the color one into there. Oh, okay, cool. All right, and that looks all crazy, right? It's too big, it's too whatever. And we also need to make sure it's in the right area. And right now it's over top of the whole thing. So that's where we're going to use our ID maps. So now I've got this stack of ID set up, and I need both of these together. So I'm going to grab this, hit Shift D, make a new one, and bring it down here. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. So the first map that I want to use is detail 1. So detail 1 will go into here. All right, and I don't remember where. So detail one is the general part of the map of the stuff, but it's not up here. So you can see that it's no longer affecting this area up there, right? It's only affecting that area. So let's set this back to 1 again. Now let's look at the scale. So if I go over here, I can look at the scale, and the scale for detail 1's UVs are U is 60 and V is 30. And I think I'm gonna fix this real quick so they're set up the way it is in F model, and that's just swapping, changing the order of these numbers real quick. Where is it? Okay, group, and I'm just gonna take the V and move it up. All right, cool. Just so that I can just read it and just enter it the way it's saying. So it says V is 30 and 60. So I'll just type in 30 and then type in 60. And that is not the right place to put it. So we're gonna put that one back at 1. Let me grab this. This is gonna have to go with each of the maps. So this will go into this vector spot here. And I'll type in 30. And then I'll type in 60. There we go. There. And now we have that snakeskin look. And then I can look at the power of it, which is at 0.4. Go 0.4. Boom. And now it's a bit more subdued, but it's still in there and it's looking good. And I'll do that for each of them, right? So I got to blend it. So it's a little bit of plug and play and stuff, but it's not too bad. Once it's better than all the stuff that I was trying to figure out before and trying to figure out how it works. So then we got 2, 5, 7, 9, and 10. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 of them. And so if I want, I could start just setting these up. Just copying and pasting them over. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. All right, we'll set this here. I'm going to set the factor to 0 for these ones. And then once I plug the actual factor in, they'll have some value. But for now, we just want to keep them empty. All right, 0. And I could have done that before I copied them. And then make sure the normal is plugged into the normal and not the color. All right, cool. All right, so now the next one that I need is microfiber. So let's just change it up. Microfiber. There it is. We'll grab it. Grab this. Make a copy. Bring it down here. And this is going to be for number 2. And if I go back up to my list, I can see that 2 I'm using. I'm just not using 3. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we'll use 2. Now 2 will get plugged into that factor if I learn how to use a mouse. And let's go ahead and make sure it's at whatever power. So it's going to be at 0.2 and it's going to be 60, 60. So if they're both the same, you can just drag and select both of them. I'll plug this one into color. And I think, what did I say it was going to be power-wise? It'll be 0.2. And make another one of these. Look at the next color. So that's gonna be linen. And so it is still time consuming to get set up, but at least you don't have to go in and try to rebuild all this stuff in Photoshop and whatnot. And you can still make changes to the actual outfit now. So I can make an outfit with my own customizations, bake it up, and that's really what I'm going to do. I'm not going to and bring that over into Tekken 7 if I want to, or if someone else wanted to make it. But doing this stuff, I think, is a great way to just experiment and learn how to do your own stuff. And when you start doing, if you ever decide to do models on your own, how can you control like everything that you're working with? And this is what, 5 I'm using. And see how other artists have done it. In this case, the devs of Tekken, how they have done it. And no matter what you say, like, this is they've done amazing work with the models and the different things here, and my hat's off to them. And we're looking at 3060. So I'll just make that 130. And then power wise, this is at 1.5. And I'm not sure which area that's for, but all right, so what is 7? 7 is polyurethane. And then I'm gonna go ahead and try to bake this as well. And I could just take this outfit once I bake it and bring it over to Tekken, which is I think what I might do. But that'll be I think I can do that on a different video. But this should be the setup, and I plan to make this setup available very soon. I just want to do a couple more testing. I'll probably finish her outfit, and then I'll release this on my Mega Drive, and you can take a look at it and see how I set everything up. And then if you have any ways to make this setup better, faster, more efficient, easier to use, simpler for people to use, I'm all ears. I would love to know. I've been doing Blender stuff for a couple years now, but they keep changing and upgrading and doing new stuff. And there's probably other people that are in the industry that are like way more advanced than I am. But let's see, this is for which one? 7. Oh, so it's what, 5, 6, and 7. So 7 is, I used 8. Seven is 0.7. $20 and $40. All right, so it's not the most exciting stuff, absolutely, but having like a high quality version to mess around with and play around with is pretty cool. So look, so there we go. So we've got, see, it's the yellow that we're used to seeing. And if I click on this, it gets rid of the extra pieces. Bring that strength down. There we go. And that's looking pretty much spot on, right? That's what we're looking for. All right. And then I should have one more, right? I think 10. And now if I also look over here, there's a couple of things that are crazy. So there's a don't color OP, and I've seen it used, and I have to double check and see what it's saying don't color and figure out what exactly that means. Is that going to be like, is that an overall mask color, right? Like, don't apply it to the mask. And I'm going to take a look at that in a second because I didn't take a lot of time to dig into it before I did this here. But, and then there's also this hue tiling and hue intensity. I'm not sure how these are used. So I have to do some more research to find that out. Let's go ahead and grab the last map, which should be polyurethane, and this one should be Napa, right? Did I get these wrong? Let's just make sure I got them right. So we got Napa, then brushed, and then brushed again. Is that right? All right, I got Napa, then brushed. Oh, this one should be cotton linen. So I'm just gonna open this up and go look for cotton linen. All right. And the fourth one is polyurethane, which is correct. And the last one is, oh wait, there should be 6. So, oh yeah, I got another spot. All right. So the next one is Napa, which I already have. So let's just go ahead and grab it. There we go. And this is for 9, I believe. And 9 is the beginning of the new set, so that's the first one. All right, we'll look up here and see what's up. Oh, look, there's another don't color. It's 7. I'll have to figure out what that is. So 9 is at 50%, 30, 60. So 30, 60. All right, and then we have our last one, which is polyurethane again. So we'll grab this. Okay, so this is 10. This is going to be 0.7 at 2040. What I say the strength was 0.7. All right, 10. Nice. And so it adds like different stuff for here, different stuff for the part in there, a different type of blend for the hood, the base of the shirt, all the different areas, right? Cool. So there we go. So now I've got this. I'm just going to bring these down so they're not overlapping. And there we go. So that took some time to get set up, mainly because I was kind of talking through it. But once you get the hang of it, it's pretty quick work. Also, it's way better than trying to figure this all out yourself. So you've got this cool setup, and everything is set now to a principal BSDF a slider that you can go ahead and work with. And we're gonna go ahead and bake a couple things real quick, so that way I can use them later, right? So let's do that. Oh, now this is all for the normal, but there's also an AO setup, and it's like the same thing, but it's a little bit easier. I'm gonna go ahead and right click on here, go to show hide, and hit collapse and hide unused sockets. Hopefully it actually does it. Okay. And yeah, and so it just reduces it down to the size of the things that I'm actually using. Don't do it before you've actually plugged stuff in. And why did these all get small? I don't know why. I'm gonna we'll just put unconnected slots. There we go. And you can of course make these all small as well, but I like to keep these ones open just so I know what's in them and what I'm changing. Go ahead and quick save. And this is a little modding add-on that I made, and I think I made it available in my thing, but it's got a couple of features I use a lot. Bone organizer, which I'm going to update for Tekken 8. This consolidates some materials. This turns alpha on and off for the materials, and I can change the overall material type. So if I want this to be alpha hashed, I can do that. 1 second. Okay, cool. So there you go. That's how to color her shirt. And now if we want to mess with the colors themselves, right? We can do that a couple ways. So I set all the colors to be these basic colors, right? And say I don't want to lose that setup that I currently have, but I want to change some colors. I can hit Shift A, hit S to search, and then type in RGB. And I've got a little RGB node. And whatever color I want to change, I can just plug into it, right? So let's plug it in. Let's make that. Ooh, that looks kind of cool, right? Well, let's make it like whatever. I think that's what the dirt color is on it. Yeah, it's kind of cool, right? So we can change that color. We can make it white. I don't know, I kind of like white too. Make that a little bit whiter. And the cool thing is, if I unplug it, it goes back to the original color, right? So I can make this, and let's make another one. And let's say, let's change this, right? And I believe this is the, there we go. We'll make these gold. Right, gold. A nice gold color. Gold is like never like actual like gold. It's like a off, very light yellow that gets enhanced by the metallic. All right, cool. And if I wanted to, I can use these masks to add other things as well. But I'm not gonna do it right now. But I could. Let's see. Let's make this base down here red. I think that was in the blue colors. So search RGB. And I think it's this color down here. So I'm gonna plug that one into that. Okay, it's not that color. Then maybe this one. There we go. All right, and let's turn off the dirt. It's kind of in my way. I don't really want it right now. Dirt factor we'll set to 0. There we go. All right, cool. So now we've got a black base right there with some trim. And yeah, let's see about this pattern. Now the pattern is all one color. So whenever I change the pattern, it's going to change everything on the pattern. Unless I go and make a completely separate pattern. But that's okay. I'm going to grab, oh, not that. I'm going to grab this. I'm just going to make a hue and saturation. So here's my pattern color. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over a little bit and drop it if it'll let me. Shift A, come on, search. We'll look for a hue. Nope, that's the actual node. Shift A, search, or hue. So I made it called a hue saturation node, but I just want its own. And I'm going to grab this, plug it into my color, I'm going to take this one and plug it into here. There shouldn't be any change right away, but let's go ahead and see what we can do. So now I could change the color of the actual thing. I can make it red, pink, whatever. I want it red. That looks kind of cool. And it kind of changes that up there. I could change the saturation, make it deeper. I want to make it a little bit deeper. I can make the value a little bit lighter or darker. Just kind of mess around with it. Make it just raw. No, I don't want that raw. Let's keep the saturation at like 1.2. And the value is at 100. Let's bring the value down a little bit. We'll make it at like 0.6, I think. There we go. Cool. Nice. Let's see, what else are we working with? Unplug that for a second. Just want to see, does it affect this part? And it does affect that part. Or I could just get rid of it altogether, right? Just make it clean. But I like it, so we're gonna keep it. Yeah, and then also if I think this hood it has its own piece as well. So let me think. Let me unplug. I'm gonna undo the pattern color for a second. And I'm looking for this. So this is what I want. So this is number 12. So say I want just that part to be influenced by something. I can go ahead and add another blend node on top of it, right? So let's see, I've got my pattern color here. Let's go ahead and add an offshoot just up here. And I'm going to take 12, right? And keep that one plugged in, but now I'm going to move this one to here. Maybe. We'll see. It depends. Ask your mom. Okay, so let's what do I want to do? Let's take this and we're gonna take this. This is what the pattern color. Let's run the pattern color through this one, right? And we're gonna take this. Wait, how do I want to do this? I want to make okay, that's the color. All right, yep. So I'm just pulling it up out of there and then bringing it back down. So I'm just detouring it a little bit. And we're gonna take this factor and throw it back into there. All right, and I think I'm gonna change this to mix. Okay, cool. And so there we go. So look, so now I've got the inside of the hood that is no longer that, and I can change the color if I want to. All right, I want to make it a deep red, right? And then yep, and I could change the blend mode now. I could say it to multiply if I want to, and now it's going to multiply the color that's underneath of it, or I can do whatever. Set it for a screen, set it for ads, set it for whatever type of blend mode that I want, right? There you go. Oh, that looks kind of cool. I like that. So that's using a screen. I think I can use a hue or a color, and it should change whatever's underneath of it to essentially red. So if I didn't think it was red enough, because it was kind of brown before, or maybe hue would be a better one. I'm not sure. Let's see. If you let me. Come on. Let me click it. And hue has a little bit less of an impact, so I think we're gonna go back to color. Oh my goodness, there we go. Yeah, I kind of like that. And let's see what other parts of this jacket exist that I might want to change. Um, oh, there's these pieces. I'm not sure what color that is. I think that's this one. Let's go ahead and make a copy of this. Let's make these black real quick. So we'll go to black and plug that in there. Nope, that's not what I want. Let's plug that one into, oops. Let's try this one. Nope. What about this one? There we go. With some black blades. Let's make these gold also. Right? And if I want it, I can just take the same gold here and use that to that one. Doesn't matter. Cool. Now I got the same gold across the board. It's looking kind of crazy, looking kind of cool. Let's see, anything else I want to do? Maybe I want this part to be changed. All right, I'm not gonna mess with it too much more, but that would be the jacket like that with some changes that I've made directly to it. And I can also reverse and go back and do whatever too as well. Let's see, is there anything else I want to do? Maybe I want to reduce the roughness of this section. Right, this black section right here. Where did I make it black? I believe that is, which one? I think this one. Yep. So, this is the one I used here, which is plugged into section 9. And so I want the roughness to be affected, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out a little bit more. And I'm going to create another blend node. Right, I'm going to shift A, search rough. Oh no, I'm going to say mix color. And I'm just going to move this one up a little bit so it's kind of like out of the way. And this roughness is what I want to mess with. So I'm going to set this as the base, right? And this is going to be all white for 0 roughness. And I'm going to go ahead and plug this one into roughness. And see what happens. And now look, it's a lot more flat, right? Because it's kind of mixed half and half. And now it's like almost plasticky, right? She's got like a plastic outfit. Let's go ahead and take this section here, 9. Let's bring this one all the way over to this factor. All right, and so what it should do is it should leave everything what the original one was except for this one. And if I want that one to be more, I can just increase it as such. So we'll make it a little bit less shiny than that part, right? And so you can do a lot with masks and IDs to get like just the perfect color and get everything set just right. Yeah, it's really kind of crazy what you can do once you start to learn and understand how to manipulate things and manipulate areas. And then if you wanted to add stuff, you can add new masks to this thing as well. I don't know how the tech, so my understanding, there's that split channel mask that's set in the F model, but I don't know where it actually is. If it's in the game, if you wanted to add more colors to customize, I would imagine we'd have to find that split channel texture, and it feeds dynamically into what how many colors are going to be available and what IDs and such like that. I don't have that information yet. I'm still looking. I'll keep playing around with it and see what we got. But there, that's pretty much it. And then if I wanted to also impact the roughness of the other areas, I would have to do another, I would just have to find different ways to split this up. So like this would be one way, and then I could, let's let's grab, I would grab this roughness, like say, and we're going to go ahead and plug this roughness into the original, and then I'm going to plug this one into that side. Oh wait, no, this, oops, this one, stop it. This one will go into that point instead. And now this side should allow me to, right. Yep, so now I can control the roughness of this side. I can make it super no roughness, or let's give it, maybe it's just a little bit too shiny, right? So we'll just decrease it a little bit there. Keep this part staying flat, and actually let's make this part even less rough. Come on. I gotta fix my USB port. All right, we'll make it almost like just straight cloth. Right, nice. And so that would be some edits and changes that you can do once you're done. So you can have multiple versions of your object. Now, let's go ahead and try something else. So let's go ahead and make this into, say, its own texture. What did I just do? What happened? I changed whatever. Okay, so right now, this is part of a group. If I hit Alt-H, the rest of the body shows up. So what I'm going to do is hit A, and I'm going to hit Shift-D to make a copy, and then I'm just going to separate this selection. And the reason I'm going to do that is because most likely there is a, here, I'll show you. If I go into this full version, right? I go into Edit, and I say hit A, and then let's switch this to, we'll switch this to a UV editor. You can see all the pieces that are going to get colored and textured and all that good stuff. If I hit Alt-H, we go back in, it's just a mess. All the UVs are packed on top of each other. And I'm not going to be able to do, if I try to bake stuff, it's going to try to bake all of that. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and pull up just the shirt here. And if I go into edit mode, hit A, now I'm just going to get all of that. So let's go ahead and switch over to, oh, I guess I can do it on this side. So I've got the UV editor, and now what I want is to bake this into a single image, right? But I want to make it into like a prefab, just everything is included. So we'll go to Text Tools, which is a free app you can get, and we'll go to baking. And I set it to 512 just to see if it's going to work. And I'll go with the base color and see if it's going to read my base color just fine, or if I'm going to have to do something special. So I'll just hit bake, and we'll see what has happened. And it looks like everything worked fantastic. Look at that. It baked all of my stuff beautifully. So now I can switch up the stuff. Let's make it like 4K. It takes a couple seconds because it's going to be a much more high quality image, of course. And there we go. We've got our new image set. And what I can do also is, let's go ahead and, I don't need a new UV map. I can use the same one. But we're going to say we got Tekanate cloth jacket. And I'm going to rename this. I'm just going to call this one MI Cats or CH Cats PDF Street Jacket EXP. Right? So it's going to be, I'm going to just rebake it. And that way, and that's just me being lazy. So when I rebake this, it'll change the name of the image. So when I save it, it'll be its own separate image, and it'll be named after the object that it was baked from. Right? So if I go to image, we go to save as, if it'll let me, there we go. I'll go ahead and make a new textures folder. I'll say textures, textures cat for now. And here we go. MICH cat BDF straight jacket XP base colors TJ. Cool. Save it. And now I can go ahead and bake all of my my stuff, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and bake. I don't think I need an alpha mask, so I'm not gonna get one. I'm gonna bake a metallic map. And this should also now also include all the changes I made to the base metallic map. So my metallic map would be different than the base metallic map. All right, there we go. Image. Save as. And because the material I like to use in Tekken is the MCH demo material, I just need a metallic and a roughness. I don't need a specular map, so I'm not going to make one for now. And I won't need an alpha mask or anything like that. I will need a roughness though, or a normal. So I'll grab normal. And I think I'll bake an emissive as well. And just to see if the emissive mask is any different than my base color mask. I don't think it will be, but just to make sure. The normal maps usually take the longest to bake, so just trying to combine all that data, throw it into some images and pixels. And you want to make sure you don't have anything overlapping, if at all possible. If you end up with a texture where you have stuff overlapped, you want to try to figure out how to separate it and then move it over. And you'll move it over exactly one in the UV scale. So that way, even though it's not on the little texture area, oh, that looks weird. I don't know why it looks like that. I don't like it, but I'm not sure why it's doing that either. I'm gonna go to UV layout and see if I have any overlaps. And I think I have to select everything first. A, then over. And I don't have any overlaps. So what I'm gonna do is hit mesh, and I'm gonna hit normals, average face area, and see if that makes a difference when I bake it. And typically I bake it as linear. If this doesn't come through, I'm gonna see if baking it as RGB makes a difference. When I'm getting a lot of artifact issues, like with, I don't like that. It might be something I can fix. It might be something I can't. I don't know. But the reason why I want to bake it, I could use just the base one, but then I'd have to figure out how I want to set up like the IDs and such in Unreal or whatever. So if I can just bake it all now, then that'd be good to go. Hopefully it's taking longer because it's doing a better job. I don't know. Nope, it looks exactly the same. So let's go with an RGB bake. And I probably should have yeah, I'm not sure. So most of it is pretty good. And this might not even be an issue, right? That might just be some shit on the inside of the jacket that I don't even need to worry about. So unless this one is crazy, I'm just gonna keep pressing with the way it is. One thing you lose when one thing that you get the benefit of using these detail maps and the tilings and setup, and I mean, it's essentially the same. I'm just gonna save this for now. Save as. All right, so I've got these 3 main maps. Okay, so cool. So the goal of this whole thing, and I'm going to go ahead and just make a executive change to this mesh, because one, this is just a test, and it's just a copy. It's just like a one that I just pulled off of this one, right? So I can afford to do whatever I want to. I can just make another one in quick work. And the UVs are exactly the same. I made no changes to the UVs. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go into here, and I'm going to hit remove unused slots. If it will let me click on it, there we go. Right, and then I'm going to remove all the slots, right? So we'll make new, and I think I'll hit Control V, and this is not what I wanted. I'm going to do this. We're going to name it that. And this one I should have named it SK, but whatever. And so just make sure they're different, even though it doesn't super matter. I'll just call it Matt. Right. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and load that much simpler version and see how close we got it. Right? Does it look good? Does it look great? Does it look passable? I don't know. Where is my browser? File browser. All right, so we're gonna go to textures cat. I'm just gonna grab them. All right. So let's start with color. And we just drop color on there. And boom, we got a nice color. Came out pretty good. I mean, you lose some of the detail for sure from the bake, but not a lot. And we'll grab metallic, plug that in. All right, and we've got it. And we did lower the metallic for the bake. We got roughness. Or no, we didn't. I don't think. Here we go. Nice. Okay. And that's just the shape of the mesh right now. But we're gonna go ahead and use normal. And I think I have my node should work. So I'm gonna hit Shift A, search, and I'm looking for a normal adjust. That's what it's called. So let me get it. We'll plug that into here. And let's see how it looks with the regular normal. So that's with that normal, and I have to switch this to non-color. All right, and that's looking pretty good. Let's see what it looks like if I switch it to this one. And it's hard to tell if there's an issue. Sometimes you'll run into like seaming issues. Like, let's see if that goes away when I switch it. And it doesn't completely go away, but it does look a little bit better. I'm not sure which is the best one to use, to be honest. But typically when it bakes it, it's going to bake it in its native format. But, or maybe that's the better one. But I think some of that crinkly area is what I'm getting here. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to switch the let's switch the texture back. Oh, come on, man, let go. Let go. All right, there we go. And let's see, what texture was it? Is it this one? Oh, it's that one. Which one was it? There we go, cloth jacket, this one. Cool. And I'm gonna see if I can add a subdivision modifier to this thing and see what it does. See if it allows me to get a better, I think I've tried this one time where I used the subdivision modifier and then did a bake and it came out better. I don't know, let's see. And so this is the one we got. And now let's go ahead and do a new one. And I meant to set this back to linear, but whatever. And so it'll bake whatever is like set to it, right? So I have this more complex material set up, so that's what I want to bake and get. If I try to bake it again with the other material on, it's just going to give me that same thing again. Okay, so that looks a little bit better. And if we go in, we can see pieces. I think I'm still getting issues with the edges for whatever reason. I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't like that. But that is loads better. I'm gonna go ahead and switch this to linear. If it'll let me switch to linear. There we go. And I'm going to, but like you see that looks loads better. But so now I'm gonna go into edit mode, right? And we're gonna go into this mode right here. And I'm looking for like those pieces that are kind of like kinked up a little bit. And I want to say it's probably, or actually what I can do is just hit A and it's these areas. So let's set this to that. We'll go ahead like this. Oops, not that. I'm gonna hit L, L and L. So these are just the parts in here. So I don't really care too much about that area. I'm not seeing any like kinks in the lighting. So what I can do now is I can go, let's go ahead and save this. Let's save it. We're gonna save over top of this one because it's already like way better. And let's go ahead and switch out the material again. So I'm gonna go into here and let's go ahead and grab, oh my goodness. My mouse is just like, I don't know if I need a new mouse or what, but it's super annoying. Let's grab this simple material. All right, and let's make sure we're loading the right one. Let's make sure that's on there. We'll take a look at it, and those looks a lot better, I believe. And if I take this off, what happens? Oh, let's make sure this is set to non-color. There we go. And that's looking a lot better. I'm not seeing as many little pieces. This part looks a lot better right here because before it was just looking like a static chunk, but that looks pretty good. And if I want to compare it to the real thing, I can go ahead and let's just hit GX to move it over. And let's go ahead and take a look at the original one. Right? So there we go. We got both of these jackets, and there's not a lot of difference between the two of them, but this one is way simpler, right? And you get all those cool details. And if I wanted to change the look of the outfit, it's really not super hard either, right? So I can just, let's go ahead and hit Control C just to reposition this stuff back. There we go. Um, let's see, I can just go into here, right? Bam. If it'll let me. Let's click on this. Click on this. Let's turn it back to that cloth, right? Cloth jacket. And now I'm gonna go ahead and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call this one variation A, right? And then I'm gonna hit this to make a copy of it, and then I'm just gonna say original, right? We're gonna keep that one to the original. And now I'm gonna go ahead and just unplug these pieces, right? Color, color, color. All these pieces that had additional colors put onto them, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of. All right, so now we got something that's a lot more like the original. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna just take this roughness and just plug it back directly into there, so we don't have any changes there. Let's go ahead and take this pattern color, and we're just gonna rub this one right into here. We're gonna kind of break this little piece off. Hey, oh my goodness. There we go. Right, so we're not using that stuff anymore, and we've got the original one back. Right. Cool. Just following the trail, and I think we're back to 0.1. And now I can just go into here to base color, and let's go ahead and cook one. And now I should have added like a variation name to the original image. But I didn't, so I'm gonna go ahead, image, save as, and I'm gonna take this one and I'm gonna hit rename, and hopefully don't save over it on accident. And we'll just underscore variation A. Right. And this is not. This will be that one. All right. Let's save as. Nice. So now what I can do is go back to this material. All right, and it's using oh, you know what I want to do? Hold up, let's say save as. So the normals are the same, but the roughness is not the same. So I'm gonna bake a new roughness. So let's rename this one, but I want to keep this one with this one, right? Variation A, and then rename. All right, cool. And so what I want to do is, and you can just keep going back and making adjustments and doing different tweaks and seeing how you like it and what you like and what you don't like. And you can interconnect them and intertwine them or do whatever. And then if you don't like the overall values, you can change those values in Unreal. There's so many different things that you can do on the fly. But a lot of it goes to how you set it up to build. If you just do a flat bake and you just have like a full transfer over, you lose a lot of controls. And so you don't want that. So this will be saved as. It'll let me. And then the last thing I'll go over is how to you can set up, if you for whatever reason, if you don't want to do this process, which is pretty much done for you, but if you don't want to do it and you want to do it yourself in Photoshop or something, how are you going to do that, right? I'm going to go into Photoshop and kind of show you the same process. And there's a couple of ways that you could handle it, but essentially you're going to do the same thing. You're right. You're going to have to go in, you have to split out those different colors and those different color masks. You can do it a couple of different ways, depending on your own desires. I'm thinking that if you wanted a certain area, you could do what I'm doing here, and you could bake just a fact, like a one of the ID maps. You can just bake one of the ID maps. You can go in and change all the colors for the ID maps. But I think some of them overlap and overlay each other, and then use those as masks in Photoshop. I wouldn't advise it. Personally, if you can use Blender and you can do this process, Sax Tools is free. I'm going to give you this type of thing. You can follow along, rebuild these nodes as you see fit, and you can have a lot more control for your baking and your coloring. If you need something specific that you want to get done, I would say bake the ID mask for it, take it into Photoshop, and then make some changes. Like, for example, let's see, what do we want to do? What could we do to make this look better? Let me bake my new roughness map real quick. Oh my goodness, my system hates me. All right. So some of the things that you can do is you can make a new pattern mask if you want, right? Let's see, what do I want to do? What can I do? I'm not sure what I would add to this thing, to be honest. All right, let's say I want some checkers. Maybe I can find some plaid design, right? Oh my goodness. Come on. Dude, my mouse is pissing me off. I don't even know where my mouse is right now. It's disappeared. Look, it's just doing its thing. Come on, mouse. Oh my God. All right, my mouse has just stopped working completely. Oh, man. I think I have a backup somewhere. Let's try this one. What the heck? Easy store? Wait. Shit, wait, what did I unplug? I unplugged my mouse. I am not sure what happened. Oh, wait, that's not my... What the hell am I doing? Okay, so this should be... There we go. Oh, this one has the worst reading, but it has the worst click button. I need to go buy a new mouse. Golly, it sucks. But at least I'm not getting that clicking. Oh, but I can't move it. I've got to have another mouse somewhere. I am on the search for a new mouse. Let's see. My folder. Oh, here we go. Here's a mouse. Let's see what this one works. All right, let's try this one. Okay, this one feels good. Should stay good, hopefully. There we go. No clickety clickety. All that good stuff. Got control. Beautiful. All right, but yeah, that's it. That's really all that you do. So let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to go ahead and update this, the material that I had on here, right? So let's go ahead and get that updated. Right. Oh, and it already updated itself. Nice. It doesn't always do that, but sometimes it does. So that works. And so there you go. You got your... I got two different variations that I can use. I can change this out if I wanted to completely. Here, let's just make a new one. And we'll go ahead and open up this version. And be like, yo. All right, so look, so now I got these two different versions, right? And say I want to mix and match, right? Because I'm just like, I'm not quite sure. I have these that I can use when I export, but say I just want to have it available right now to mess with. So I can hit Shift A, search, and then hit mix color, right? We'll use that mix color node again. And what we'll do is we'll plug the original into the top and this one into the bottom, right? And now I've got that I can blend between the two. I can be all the original, all the new one, slightly, right? And get a little bit of a nice rose gold tone to it. You know what I mean? So much flexibility. And you could do the exact same thing with each of the elements. Set this up here. I've got a blend. Oh, and here's another thing that's kind of cool, right? So let's do this. We're going to set this one here. Hey, you. Set this here. Set this one here. And the normal stays the same. So we're just going to move this one down. And, okay. So we'll grab one of these and drop it here. And drop another one here. And let's say, all right, that's the original one. Let's make Shift D, right? And let's grab the metallic variation, right? We're gonna plug that one in there. So roughness variation. All right, cool. Okay, so that's if I switched it all the way over. Wait, is that the right one? No, that's not, I think, did I not grab the variation for some reason? All right, there's the variation. There we go. Okay, so that's set to 1, right? But maybe I want this more uniform, right? I don't want to, if I'm going to switch it, I'm going to switch it. So I could just be like, hit Shift A, search, and then hit value. Let's look for value. And I'll set this value up here and plug this one into here. And this one will be into here. And this one will be here. And so now when I switch this to go move it forward out, and it's going way beyond, it's gone into the future. I need to, let's clamp the factor. That way it can't go past 0 and 1. So even if I go way past in the future, it'll only switch between 0 and 1. So I can go somewhat all the way and do a new Blix. Now, if I was to do something like that and I wanted to just export it, whatever, I would just do the same thing I did for this material that I did for the other one. And I would just bake a new metallic roughness and color mask map, and I'd be good. So now let's say, what if I want to change, I brought this into Tekken and I need to make a map, right? But in Tekken, I don't have these IDs and stuff like that, but they do use the mask, right? The different color masks, right? So let's go ahead and figure out how I would address that issue. All right, so let's go back to cloth jacket, original. All right, and I've got these colors up here. And I think if I went to the cloth jacket variation, yep, it's a completely different one because I used this little duplicate thing to make a variation. So I've got this one here, and I'm gonna make one more duplicate, and I'm gonna call this one mask. And if I was doing this all on my own, it would be probably a little bit faster, but it would also be probably on one material. I probably want to switch the materials out. So I can kind of look and see what I want to switch. And so I'm going to set these to my basic colors. And I won't use black. I'll use just red. Let's use red, green, and blue, right? So it'll be red, green, blue, and black are kind of what I'll be working with. We'll set this one to blue, right? And I'm like, okay, what do I want to change overall? So I'm pretty sure I definitely want that to be its own color, right? And I don't want the matte. I don't want the pink parts to be an issue. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to do there. Oh, and I'll show you what you can do there for those items. Let's say, what do I want to be green? Do I want the metal parts to be green? I could, yeah, let's see that. So we'll take this and we'll make, not that I want them green, but I want them to be colored, right? So we'll take this, plug it in, there we go. And I think the other metal parts are here. Nope. Let's see, are they these ones? Nope, not really. Oh, yeah, I want that there. Let's put this one. Here? Why is it doing that? Oh, okay. Okay, so the metal parts have multiple sections. Let's, what about here? What about... Oh, you know what I think it is? I think it's, the alpha. This one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there we go. We'll go with that. And what about the see the base strip down here? Let's change that. We'll make that blue. Is that this one? Nope. This one? Nope. Oh, it's this one down here, right? Ah. Okay. Nope. Did I plug it in the right place? did. There we go. Blue. All right, cool. And so now I don't want anything else colored over. Right, I want everything else to be just the default. So what I'm going to do is take this and I'm going to set this one to black, and I'm just going to plug this one into all the other ones that are not currently covered. So we'll plug it into this one, plug it into this one, and let's plug it into this part down here. Right, and I'm going to plug it into this part down there. All right, so that's going to be all black, and it doesn't really make a huge impact right here. Let's see, let's plug it into, yep, I don't need that one plugged in. Let's plug this one into, no, that's blue already. All right, that should be good, but now I have these mask parts. So now I'll go to the pattern color, right? And I'm going to delete this because I don't need this right now. I'm going to delete this because I don't need that in this one. And here's my pattern color. So rather than plug in the pattern, right, I'm just going to plug in black. All right, cool. All right, and I don't know what this in here is. And I'm going to switch my view real quick to diffuse color. Nope. Which one is it? I thought it was diffuse color. Diffuse light? No, that's not what I want. I don't know. But this should be black. And I think it is. It's just, yeah, whatever. But either way, this is what I want. This is going to be my new mask. So I'm just going to do that. And we're just going to go into here. And we're just going to hit a base color. And we're going to click on that. And then we're going to go ahead and bake it. All right, so we'll go ahead and bake this, and then I should be able to go ahead and just pull this into the consolidated version, I guess. Alrighty, so there's our mask here. So let's go image, save as, and we'll call this one mask. Now I can go ahead and switch this back to normal one if I want to, but I'm going to switch it to this one. All right, so here's the one that we were messing around with. I don't know why that's blue. It shouldn't be blue. Okay, it was just, oh, okay, so it was some whole, so because I changed that map, I think it just updated it here. But I don't want this to be, I need this to be the actual color mask. Or not the color mask, I need that to be the original one. Not 1 second. All right, cool. So we've got this situation here, right? Nice. So we're going to need to change a couple things up. So let's go ahead and play around with some of this stuff. So I've got this new mask here, right? So let's bring this into the scene. So duplicate that, grab our mask, right? If I just grab my mask and plug it in, there we go, right? but I want colors for that, right? And I don't want to just make colors. I need that diffuse, right? So in the game, I'm going to need one more mask. And I'm not, because I haven't made any major changes, I'm just going to keep uh, the original texture, which is, should be for the jacket. All right. All right, so I'm going to grab this. And if I bring this in, it's all black and white, right? So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to make mix. So I'm going to hit Shift A, search, and I'm going to say separate color. All right, and so I'm going to separate this color into 4 different things, right? Shift A, search, image, or we'll say mixed color, and here we go. And so I'm going to set this red one here, right? And we're going to make this whatever color, like we'll make it green. We'll set this to overlay. All right, so now we've got that green on there. Let's see, I need to get, oh, and I probably would bake a new texture image, but with just the diffuse and the pattern. So that way it just fades underneath. But I'll show that in a second. All right, so we've got that one. We'll hit Shift D. And the same setup for mixing things that we did before, we can do here. Let's make that one red. Shift D. Now we've got blue. Set that one here. Make this one whatever. Whatever color we want to. All right, so we got this cool jacket. Some black studs. All right, we got some cool stuff. And now I could add the actually, I'm gonna undo that one and make this one no, actually we'll keep, hold on a second. Gonna keep these ones mixed. Okay, so essentially that is that. But let's say we want to, we can't have it like that. We need to have the patterns. We can't just not have the patterns on there. Oh, and then this one will be our result. Get out of here. Shift D. And so in this case, this is our base. This is the color we're putting over top of it. This is our setup. So we'll do an overlay. Do a full overlay. And there we go. We got our jacket. Looking kind of cool. Marble colors, I know. This one. But we need that color in there. We don't have it. We need to get it. And I don't want to create anything more that I won't be able to use, right? So I need to create a new diffuse mask, and I need to set up my my pattern so it can come through, right? This is not going to work the way it is right now. So let's go back to our mask version. And what I want to do is grab the diffuse mask here. So this thing. All right, hold on. I gotta cancel the stream. I will be back later. I gotta help find a phone.